Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Today we are going to spend the next hour and 12 minutes discussing Ole Miss's win over Kentucky last night, 70-62 at the Pavilion, breaking an 11-game streak in the series. The last time Ole Miss had beaten Kentucky, Chris Warren hit a three in the buzzer to pull it off.
Is that the last time?
I think so. I think that was the last time they won.
Wow.
So we're going to break that down every single way. It's all we're going to talk about today. We'll discuss that. Also, we're going to break down Ole Miss and Jackson State tonight. Baseball, 6:30 start for that one. The Tigers coming in with a roster of, I don't know, kids, players, people.
Ole Miss beat Memphis last night, too. We need to dive into that.
16-4.
Let's start with the first hitter and then kind of go from there.
Jacob Gonzalez struck out on a 3-2 count to open the game.
Okay, well, let's break that down. What happened? I mean, did he
Mike Bianco talked about – we'll actually get to that in a minute. But no, we've got some executive order news to potentially discuss today. There's something that was brewing yesterday that happened. I used the headline of yesterday's podcast. We're waiting on the world to change, and it did. So we were going to discuss that and more on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West and, Oxford, because otherwise it'd be a weird name. So anyway. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Take advantage of it. Use it. When you do that, you earn points and save money there with the Oxford Exxon. You also can stop on in, try the hot case. Got barbecue, chicken, side items, and more. Or that lunch special that's $5.69 for 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. There at all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Yeah, people say we seem bubbly and stuff. Oxford is a really fun place to live today. Today is a fun day.
This is probably the first time Neal's ever willing to use that hashtag. Was it we get to live here or whatever it is? So that's
I drove around the square a few times today and thought this entertainment's free. And whatever the cost of the gas is, that's it,
Yeah.
Sorry. 662-257-1900. It was really funny. There were news crews out. You could tell.
Were there really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Looking for the sound bite that would fit the agenda, that whatever it is, the agenda that they have. Stuff like that. It was pretty funny. Clark Ford's not funny, though. They're great. Get in touch with them if you're in the market for a vehicle. Get in touch with the people at Clark Ford. Tell Corey what you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes and business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. Get your quote. The rest is up to you. Corey wants to be a car guy. He wants to be a truck guy. He'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. I think Hudson Chadwick would agree with me shortening the message here for Rafters and telling you that they're wide open. No limits. No social distancing. No mask. At
5 o'clock
Rafters
today.
At 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Some people had already removed signage this morning earlier. I was on the phone with a restaurant bar owner in town who was talking about had a doctor's appointment this morning, and the way typically he had recognized in the past the things that had been up on the windows and whatnot, and those were removed. So
it starts at 5 tonight.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
That's when. Well, I assume that's when the governor's executive order goes into effect. And I know last night the Board of Aldermen in Oxford voted 7-0 to follow the governor's order. So I'd assume it would be the same time. And I guess there could be some sort of difference in timing, but I don't think so. I think that's the way it is at the moment. So anyway, yeah. So. We knew something was coming. I'll be honest. It was heavier and more than I was necessarily expecting in this first run. I thought they would dip toes in some ways. I thought that it might be an early April kind of thing before it finally went into place. But frankly, from an effect standpoint, the first state in the country, I guess, because Texas had put in their order. They didn't already have whatever rules in place.
Yeah, and Texas's doesn't go into effect until the 10th.
And it's a bureaucratic thing just on when the orders run out. But yes, that is correct there. Texas goes into effect next week. I know the big question everybody has is what does this mean for athletic events? The two places right now that still have some restrictions are indoor arenas. They're at 50%. So in theory, and that's an important word here, the Pavilion could be as much as 50% on Saturday for the final regular season game of the year against Vanderbilt. And then kids K through 12 in schools are still masked at this point. So those are the two things that have stayed inside from a COVID restriction standpoint.
Would you like to know the reaction from the majority of the K through 12s? Because I've seen some of the text chains. I can fill you in.
How's that?
They're not happy.
Well, I mean, I
feel like pawns in the game at this point.
And, for Oxford, it was not a sure thing. I think that if you see an alderman around and you support this thing being wide open, you probably should thank them because Starkville has kept a mask mandate in place. Jackson has kept a mask mandate in place. I saw those two off the top of my head. I'm not sure whom else at this point. I think Tupelo did not, right? Tupelo voted it out. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I feel like somebody mentioned Tupelo to me today, but I don't remember who it was or what exactly was said there. But nonetheless, there's that. Baseball, which is what's on everybody's mind, I don't know. Look, they're going to open up. How quickly they open up, I've heard some kind of differing things. They're trying to figure out what to do with these tickets. They got a massive tickets problem on their hands because of what they had to do. It's nobody's fault.
Sure.
But they have to figure it out. And if it takes a couple weeks to figure it out, I think that's possible. I think the faucet is going to be turned on. I do not necessarily know that it's going to be turned on full blast immediately. We'll see. I've heard some things completely not as a reporter, just a person around town, that leads me to believe that they're going to put something out probably today that is going to give the chance for a lot more tickets to be available. What I don't know, however, so I'm putting that off the top, is I don't know if that means people who already have tickets can fulfill for all games first. I don't know if that means more people get brought into the season ticket fold who were not able to get tickets the first time. I don't know if maybe they do something where they go back to the very first structure of season tickets purchased and try to fill all those orders. I don't know. So this could be obsolete by the time the podcast is over. It could come out at any minute. I think something is going to come out soon, but for the most part, things are opening up. It's just a matter of how quickly that takes from an athletic standpoint.
Yeah, I haven't. When's SEC play start?
3 weeks.
Because realistically, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. And hell, given the mood around town, I might be wrong. It's Belmont this weekend.
ULM the next week, and then league play.
Would they have filled up Belmont on a normal year?
If you get great weather, it would have been.
Well, Saturday's going to be pretty damn nice here, I think.
60-something, I think. Yeah, I mean, it would have been. I mean, yeah, Friday and Saturday for sure. It would have been nice crowds. I don't know, 6,000 to 9,000, 10,000. I mean, not 10, but 6 to 9.
Friday, it's a high of what time's the game?
I don't know, no clue. 6:30 probably.
I mean, the low Friday night's 39. You're not going to have a full house for 39 degrees on Friday night. But Saturday, the high is 59, and Sunday, the high is 61.
But here's the catch on that.
Both days, there's a 2% chance of rain, so it's going to be nice.
While it matters, and I get that it matters, just selling the season tickets is where the money's made for the most part. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just being able to fulfill the whole stadium. Because, I mean, Ole Miss sells 7,000 plus season tickets in a normal year.
I guess what I'm asking is, in the 2 weeks that you took to figure out how to do it, and I get that there was no way that Keith Carter and the people over there could have had any clue, hey, specifically, just so you know, on March the 2nd or 3rd, right, the world's going to change. Be ready. I'll cut them some slack.
Yeah, sure.
But you could, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, while you're figuring out, okay, how do we honor season tickets and clubs and blah, 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 you could open up and make it general admission.
You could say if you have a ticket, you get your seat.
Right.
And then anybody else, general admission, fill in different categories, charge different prices. I don't know. That's up to you to figure out. But
you could. There's nothing stopping you. My point
there's nothing legislatively stopping you.
And there's nothing stopping you from packing left field and right field and letting people go at it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no. You can tell the kids, hey, today's the DoorDash. Go at it.
Have at it.
Yeah. That'd actually be a good idea for tomorrow.
And so if you don't do that, the question becomes, and I'm being devil's advocate here. I'm not being anti anything. I'm just kind of, I got a lot of thoughts today. The question becomes, why not? Is it because you don't have enough security? Is it because the optics are weird? What is it? That would be the things that I would think today's one of those days where Keith and everybody over there in that building, they're earning their money because you have to answer all of these questions from a lot of different perspectives.
You can't make everybody happy.
Well, no, that's impossible. Trust me.
I tell you the other thing, too, and this is just tea leaves a little bit. I think it's fine. I'm not even saying this is a problem. I think there's a little bit of holding breath that the league doesn't try to implement a number on you. I don't think they're going to, but I sense a little bit of just, hey, we need to go and hope they don't cap this thing on us.
Well, that's what I would do. I'd open it up. I'd turn the faucet on.
There is no SEC mandate, Cole. The league to this point has not restricted attendance at all. They have allowed the states to decide.
Yeah.
There is at least some semblance of hesitation that they worry that might come at some point.
Well, then you should open it up tomorrow.
To try to get ahead.
Just to go, hey, it's what we're doing.
So.
Because there's going to be a segment of the population.
Ole Miss and State need to go in together for this, too.
Well, based on everything.
Safety and numbers.
Based on everything I hear, Mississippi State's ready to turn the faucet on full blast.
Yeah. But they did back off yesterday instead of what we heard first. We thought they were going to go immediately, and they didn't. They way backed off like everybody else
Look,
did.
there is a pressure out there. Did you watch Reeves' deal? You were busy doing some other stuff. You were following it, but I don't think you were watching on Facebook Live.
Correct.
I was on Facebook Live watching it as it happened. To say that we live in a divided state, a divided country, is the understatement of all time. And there is a very vocal segment, and I don't know what percentage it is, that are unhappy with this development. And when you open it up all the way, and when I say you, I'm referring to Ole Miss, you're going to piss off that population. And I'm sure there's a part of them that wonders, can we run the risk of pissing them off permanently?
Sure.
And I get it. Now, on the other hand, you just came through a year where Ole Miss lost how much money?
For football, which is all I know for sure off the top of my head,
well,
given what a normal year would have been, they lost about $2 million.
Okay, let's just call it $30 million. Sure. We'll round down.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and put my ULM education to the test and guess that basketball lost money this year.
Well, of course.
Fair.
Yeah, of course.
You've just been handed a gift horse financially. I don't know how you turn it down. You get a chance to recoup some loss. I don't know how you turn it down.
And I don't think they're going to. I mean, I'm even seeing some messages that maybe something's already come out, but I need proof before I talk about it. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now while we're talking. This might be one of those evolving podcasts as we go. I think it's worth mentioning. We're gonna be all over the place today, so just chill out. It is what it is. Around town, again, from a city ordinance, state ordinance level, everything has been removed. Businesses have a right to do whatever they want individually. I know John Currents has come out and said that all the city grocery establishments, which includes Snack Bar, Beret, Big Bad Breakfast, maybe that's it, they are staying with previous protocols. They are staying with masks. They are staying with socially distanced chairs. And I was talking to a buddy this morning. I mean, look, it's America. Sure. They get to do that just like anybody else, sure. And anybody gets to make their own decisions on whether they go to those establishments regardless of that, because of that, or not go because of that. Either way, in any direction. So I'm going to be fascinated on that standpoint of almost like a weird Monopoly game to kind of see how the town...
I'll tell you this. If I'm in the restaurant business in Oxford and that gets announced by Currents, I sprint in the other direction.
I mean...
From a business standpoint, we're wide open.
Because almost every restaurant in town is competing with one of his restaurants in some way.
Because I sprint in the other direction. I said, we're wide open. The state said we can be. We are. Look, you could look at Dobbs yesterday and tell that Dobbs wasn't thrilled with the day. But Dobbs didn't take the podium and say, I think the governor here is insane.
He told people to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's all he said.
And here's where I stand on that part. If you live in Mississippi right now and you're above the age of 16 and you want to be vaccinated, you can get vaccinated. It is not hard.
Yeah, I'll spend 30 seconds most here. There are segments of people who say it's not their turn yet. And okay, that's again your personal choice. Because by the law, they have kept the comorbidities and different things and whatever. The only people that I have concern is not even the right way, but I think is the only kind of thing where you go, okay, there's a select group of people, is maybe some of the with the stadium being open, you go, hey, you go or don't go. Concession workers, security, some of those type of people who may not. I wonder if there's some opt-out ability for them in their jobs.
But what I would say to that is that those people probably have been doing work over the last either.
Yeah, that was my only thought process.
Either that or they're thrilled to have work. I mean, a lot of people have been laid off. This is a governor order yesterday that brings a lot of people back to the workforce.
It does, yeah. Because you need more people all the way around. Everywhere.
Sure. I mean, if you're a restaurant employee, well, you just got your job back if you want it. If you don't want it, don't take it. And when people say, Neal, do you really think it's that simple? My answer is yes. I really think it's that simple.
Yeah, Hilden says this, and that's what I heard from some places too. He said most restaurants weren't ready. They need food, servers, cooks, busboys, et cetera, to get back to 100% capacity again. May take a week or two. Yeah, I've heard that for a couple of places as well, that there's just a straight manpower issue to take a minute to kind of get organized from a logistics standpoint. So it's all moving in that direction. It depends how quickly that happens.
Well, I'll tell you that I anticipate another executive order.
In 2 or 3 weeks?
If you listened to Reeves closely yesterday, he hinted at this. He said, I anticipate this being one of the last. I think the last one's coming at the very beginning of April, and I think it's going to wipe it all off the map.
Indoor and...
I think he's going to open it up.
Well, at that point, too, when you open indoor, you're basically just saying concerts are completely open because basketball's over. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other indoor venue that you're overly trying to do whatever at that point.
Well, and again, I go back to the other part about, and Reeves said this, it's one of the reasons the way I've been about it. You can't continue to push the goalpost forever. There does come a point where you get to the goal line and you score. And we're there. It's long been the vaccine. They talked specifically yesterday, they being Reeves and Dobbs, about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Yeah.
So you now have 3 vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, that all have very high levels of efficacy.
New word.
Another word that a year ago I didn't know, and now I'm.
And Johnson & Johnson, one shot, and can be kept for a long period of time versus the other ones.
And it was ordered Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Will start being put in people's arms in 4 counties in Mississippi tomorrow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't say that.
I'm Mr. Vaccine guy. I know it all now.
All right.
I'm kidding. But we're to a point where if you want the vaccine, you can get online and get the vaccine within 48 hours. You can make a call. You can get it done. You might have to drive to a different county, but you can get it done. And once you get to a place where the vaccine is readily available to the people who are most at risk, to teachers, to everybody else, at that point you have to start saying, okay.
And teachers have been plugged into the actual requirements now, right?
Yes,
yeah.
They're ready to roll.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Healthy or not healthy.
Correct, yeah.
And here's the thing. I know 2 things I'll say. One, even if you don't necessarily qualify, but you just want the vaccine, you can get it. They're not quizzing you at the vaccine site. And then 2, there's a lot of people who are, at the end of a day, running over to one of the vaccine sites. The vaccines, once they
can be thawed for 5 days, I think is what it is, right?
Yeah, once the process begins with the vaccine, the clock ticks.
Correct.
You can't put them back in the freezer.
Yeah.
So once it starts, there are people that are going over there midday.
It's for missed appointments. People aren't showing up, and those are leftovers.
And so you can grab one of those, and then once you grab one, you get the automatic appointment for the second one, and then you're done.
Correct.
And so that's where we are from a society standpoint. Yeah. By the way, Webb, thanks to let's see if I can find it again. There it is. It says, thank you all for all you're doing. Loving the shows. Peanuts on the way soon. Only honey roasted. Those honey roasted peanuts from
They are
Aunt Ruby.
Freaking-tastic.
Those things are addictive as hell. I mean, they're so good.
I like them all, but that's my favorite. They're
my favorite, but they're also sort of my kryptonite.
Well, because they go so well with anything you're drinking.
Yes.
Like just to kind of.
Like with bourbon, they're amazing.
Yeah, like I gave some to a buddy, and he was like, "Hey, set those by the chair," and you just kind of go through them a little bit. It is what it is.
word to the wise, if you're at all watching your waistline,
that's not the move. No
put
offense,
some in and then put them away.
It's kind of like the chips. Don't bring the whole bag to your chair with you.
Because, you're not going to eat just one.
Yeah, so we'll continue this conversation in a second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting to understand your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Are you ready to play at M-Trade Park? Registration has started for both youth baseball and softball with the Oxford Park Commission. The cost to play both sports is $50 per player. Leagues available this year for ages 5 to 14 in softball and 5 to 17 in baseball. I'm going to give you these dates, but I was talking to John Davis last night at Carson's OPC basketball game, and given the new orders, this might change. But for now, the season will run May 24th through July the 2nd. The deadline to register is April the 4th. It's oxfordparkcommission.com to sign up. We're brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry in Oxford. Lammon's at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford has been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, everything gold. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. You can also go to muddywateroutdoors.com and take advantage of the buy one, get one free at Muddy Water Camo with the Tri-Zone heated jackets or vest. Buy one, get one free. Buy a MyCharge portable battery charger and get the second one free. The jackets are great. Friday night be a prime example. It gets down to 39 degrees out at Swayze. It's a little chilly. You wouldn't mind having one of those jackets or vest from Muddy Water Camo. And we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust. Brings more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. Comer is the name you can trust, whether you are looking to get your air conditioning unit into tip-top shape, getting ready for summer, or your heating unit needs some work to get through what's left of the cold spell here in North Mississippi. 662-801-1777. And since some of you might be coming up sooner than you had originally planned, you want to make sure you get the latest selection of Rebel gear. They have the largest selection in Central Mississippi at the College Corner. It's 2 locations in the Jackson area. One's in Ridgeland, one's in Flowood. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com or check them out on Facebook and Instagram.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Go to the events page. See everything going on locally. Things popping back up. I talked to them yesterday, and I'm sure today even more so as they get events and different things planned for Oxford moving forward, including some pop-up events and more. Double-decker bus tours are back available. The Fridays of SEC home baseball weekend, you can sign up for those. And with the new orders, you might just walk up. I'm not sure. We'll check on that. Get some of that information to you as those things go into play. But nonetheless, bookmark it, know what's going on locally. Again, visit oxfordms.com/events. So
what do you sort of anticipate around town? I've had people asking what's town like, and I'm like, Oxford feels like it's kind of on aftershock a little bit.
I think hospitality industry places will go through the roof for the days, the weeks, the adjustment, or whatever. There's no doubt about that. I think a few businesses that don't necessarily cater as much to students might even see a lull for a few days, because I'm sure there are some people who will be more scared to go out now with it being open versus before. So there's select businesses that will have that. But as far as what people see around the square, around town, around restaurants and different things, it's going to be wild. I mean, I expect football game type weekend. I mean, maybe not like Alabama 14, but I expect non-con football kind of weekend this weekend.
I expect Friday night in Oxford to look pretty different than it's looked for the last year.
I mean, if you're just trying to get around town, don't take the square at 7:45 to do it. I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah.
I mean, go somewhere other way and do something. No, it's there. I did feel like there was a kind of a collective a little bit yesterday, for sure.
There was that, and then there was that segment that's angry about it.
And you're never going to please everybody.
Well, and I have a theory on this, that they were. It was always going to have to happen like this. There was going to have to be an executive order. They were never going to walk away from it voluntarily. And I'll be curious to see, because now, and I'm going to mention Currents by name here. John, you're welcome to come on the show. How long do you do this? How long do you play that card out? Is there a number? Is there a number of people that have to be vaccinated before you stop?
Yeah, and I don't know.
And I'd love to know. Because now you're saying, hey, we're kind of better than everybody else. We're doing this. We're kind of better than everybody else. We're more concerned about the community than everybody else. You're playing the virtue card whether you want to or not. He would dispute that. He would say, no, I'm protecting my employees. And I'd say, oh, that's cool. But at what point do you start going, okay, yeah, you know what? We are getting back to normal. And that's what I'd love to know. I'm curious because I do think you can overplay that hand.
I think he would tell you. And again, I don't know. I guess he might know my name, but I don't really know John.
Yeah, I don't know him at all.
My assumption is he is planning to run this through until legislatively and publicly they say free for all vaccines and they don't run out. That is just my guess based off
we're close to
whatever.
That.
Yeah, I pointed it out to a friend this morning that for whatever reason you want to make it, they put 1,600 vaccines up yesterday morning on the thing, and maybe it was this morning, maybe it was last night. There were still like 950 left or something. It was not like the very beginning when if you didn't catch it in the first 8 minutes, it just pop, and they were gone, and you went, oh, wow, there's a huge demand here and whatever.
There's going to be a segment of the Mississippi population and of every other population that's not going to get the vaccine.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
you're not going, if we're waiting for be able to say 70% of the population is vaccinated, we're never getting
That's
there.
A huge number.
We're
when you
never
really think
getting
about
there.
It statistically, yeah.
Yeah, we're never getting there on that.
That's number. A bigger number than you think in your head when you go, 70%. Because there will be a section that won't get it. So, I don't know.
Ginger says, which businesses have said they're opening up? I don't know all the business owners in town. I know that Rafters is opening wide open. I know that Funky's is opening wide open. Those are the two that I've specifically heard from.
Lee is keeping curbside available for anyone who would like it. But as far as an establishment starting at 5 o'clock this afternoon, it's fully open. He's going back to Oldies night on Saturday night and his typical schedule. So.
Kyle, thanks for the super chat. He says, when Saban leaves Alabama, do you think it'll cause the largest shakeup in college football history? How many head coaches change jobs? I don't know. It kind of really depends on who they hire.
He could not do anything more than a normal.
I mean, they could.
Oh, at the end of the day, it's just one coach. It all kind of trickles the same way.
Yeah, and if say a scenario where they promote Bill O'Brien.
Oh.
Well, look, I know for an absolute fact there are a handful of coaches out there that have privately told people that wouldn't mind being the guy who replaces the guy.
Yeah,
but I don't want to be that guy.
No, I'm good. How many times Ole Miss beat Kentucky in basketball? I'm going to wait 27 minutes to get there. Something like that.
Well, Kentucky's bad. Did you watch a lot of it? Yeah,
I was watching baseball. But
sure.
Yeah. Because baseball took about 9.5 hours to play last night, something like that. At one point, they were in – the game started at 5. It was 7:20 something, and they were in the – bottom of the 5th, I think, at 2 hours and 18 minutes or something like that. I mean, it was
dragging.
Memphis walked 14. Ole Miss had 14 walks and 11 hits. Frankly, it's astonishing they only scored 16 runs.
I always feel bad for the home plate umpire at that point because you want to do your job well, but you also want to get the hell out of there. And you know both coaches are like, hey, let's roll.
Well, yeah.
And so if you expand your zone, and there are people who judge umpires. You expand your zone too much,
you're getting negative marks.
Next thing you know, you're covering Northwest Community College versus Northeast Community College.
Look, Ole Miss, the stat that was interesting last night, we'll get off baseball in 2 minutes, is Mike mentioned that Saturday against Central Florida, they had 18 full counts. On 10 of those 18 full count pitches, UCF threw balls. But on 8 of the 10 balls thrown on full count pitches, Ole Miss swung. So on all but 2, what would have been ball fours, Ole Miss swung at the ball outside the zone. He was not happy about it at all. He said, however you work on that, they worked on that on Monday. I have no freaking idea. He said they started off the game the same way on last night. Jacob Gonzalez struck out on a full count pitch, but then they proceeded to walk on 4 straight full counts to score a run in the first inning. And basically, he made a joke about if you're ever going to walk in a run and not hit, that was kind of the time we needed to see that because they will not take walks. But I thought it was big because they had calmed the freak down from the weekend. Because, look, a good offense is going to do 50% or better on those just because math.
Yeah.
When you are that bad at full counts, you are stressing, you are pressing, and you are trying to hit 12-run home runs. Down.
Yeah,
and they did
sure.
that. And Memphis, if you can be happy and sad for somebody at the same time, I thought it was cool for the Kessinger family last night. Chase Kessinger pitched against Ole Miss last night. He plays for Memphis. He made his D1 debut against the Rebels. Didn't go really well. He had some command issues. Keith was calling the game for SEC Network, so kind of cool thing there for the family. But
Kid was probably a little
jacked up,
a little nervous.
Yeah, Carson Stinnett started for Memphis last night, also an Oxford kid.
Yeah.
I remember him for being a really young pitcher when like Roth and Barber and those guys were finishing. I didn't cover him at all, but so anyway, there was some local flavor there.
Those guys might have been so geeked up that their hands were shaking. I mean, where you just don't have much of a chance.
Yeah. And look, I mean, to Showing Rock's credit, he wanted to get them in the game, give them that opportunity, let them do that. I mean, that wasn't changing Memphis' season last night because they lost.
No, it was
to Ole
cool.
Miss.
It was a cool moment for
Most of them. Yeah,
for everybody. I'm sure for Keith, it was
been hard to call the game.
be hard to focus in on your broadcasting as you're watching your son out there pitching.
Yeah. So anyway, cool deal there. But nonetheless, that's really it baseball wise. They play Jackson State tonight at 6:30. They play Belmont this weekend, but whatever. I don't know. Sure.
So basketball's interesting again. This basketball team
I'm so tired of the back and forth.
Well, I asked Carmen about it. I said, is it bewildering, maddening? What is it, And his answer was basically yes. I mean, you look at their last 2 weeks.
Is he? I know he's happy when the game's over, but it's part of him not kind of pissed off.
Sure.
Hey, good God, just
why can't we do this? Look at their last 2 weeks. They go to Missouri and win. Come home, play Mississippi State, play poorly and lose.
Laid an egg.
Yeah.
No pun.
Played somebody, right? They played somebody and won. Then they go to Vanderbilt and lose. And you come home, play Kentucky and win. Had people say, well, what does it mean? I have a post up at rebelgrove.com. I'll share it here. It's not that big of a deal. So Ole Miss cannot be a top 4. Those have been determined.
So they were wrong on the broadcast all night last night.
I was searching. I was like, what am I missing? And
Florida can't lose twice because they don't have it's Tennessee doesn't have a midweek.
Tennessee doesn't have a midweek. So
can Florida lose twice? Keep talking and I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Florida can't fall below 4.
They can't. That's what I'm asking.
Right.
Okay.
So Alabama's the 1, Arkansas's the 2, LSU's the 3 or the 4.
And
Florida's the 3 or the 4.
Because Ole Miss has lost 8.
Yeah. Ole Miss.
Yeah. Okay.
If Ole Miss beats Vanderbilt on Saturday, and look, if I'm gonna do this before everybody goes, well, what if they lose to Vanderbilt? Well, then it doesn't matter at all because the entertaining part of this conversation goes by the wayside if Ole Miss loses to Vanderbilt at home. Forget it. Because then it's a very simple equation. They have to win 4 games in 4 days to make the tournament. If Ole Miss beats Vanderbilt on Saturday, it can't fall below 6. It would be the 6 if Tennessee beats Florida. It would be the 5, I think, I'm pretty sure, if Florida beats Tennessee.
Can I play a devil's advocate question?
Yeah, sure.
What would in theory happen, and do they even have enough games to do this? Never mind, they don't. Missouri hasn't played enough. They've had cancellations.
Yeah.
So they can't get into a 3-way tie with anybody is what I was looking for.
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it because Tennessee is not playing the right number of games. They're only going to play 17.
Right.
That screws it up where you can't get into a 3-way.
Right.
Because Ole Miss can
That's what she said.
As soon as I did it. Brought to you by the Blow Drop Bar, Jackson Avenue. So Tennessee can get only 17 games in. Ole Miss 10-8, 9-9, whatever they are. LSU can fall to 10-8, but they would have the tiebreaker.
Right.
So that prevents
Ole Miss
that.
cannot catch or pass LSU.
They can tie for fourth, but that doesn't.
But LSU, Ole Miss can't get the seed because LSU beat Ole Miss head-to-head.
Correct, yes. The way I interpreted it.
That's correct.
Because Florida can't lose 8 games.
So someone says, what's the scenario to this getting interesting? Okay. Beat Vanderbilt. You're going to play on Thursday. You're either going to play in the 5 versus play-in game
6-10
or 6-11.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Only 13 teams in the tournament
That's
this year because Auburn's not in it.
Oh, they're not even in the SEC tournament? Okay.
So
there's only one play-in game.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you're the 5, you'll play the winner of that game.
Okay.
If you're the 6, you'll play the 11. And those 3 teams are South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. Period.
Okay.
So you beat Vanderbilt. You turn around on Thursday and you beat either Vanderbilt, South Carolina, or Texas A&M.
Okay.
And now you play Friday. In this scenario, if you're the 5, you're playing the 4, which is LSU, Florida. And if you're the 6, you're playing the 3, which is LSU, Florida. If you were to win that Friday game, and I realize we're now getting into the
Ole Miss has to be a consistent basketball team, which is kind of a problem from time to time.
But if you were to win that game, I think you would wake up on Saturday morning very much in the conversation because the bubble absolutely sucks. I haven't even looked up the net today. What did Ole Miss do? Do you know? Probably 57.
I want to say, wasn't it like 60 on the dot?
They were 60 or 59 going into the game.
58. Up 3 spots.
Yeah. So if you won the next 2 games,
Duke was 57.
Yeah, if you won the next 2 games, you'd hover right there at 57, 56. And then if you got a neutral site win over a Florida or an LSU,
you'd bump up a little.
You'd bump up some, and the committee would see it. And then your next game would likely be a Saturday game against either Arkansas or Alabama.
It would be a play-in at that point.
Where, yeah, if you win, you're in. But if you lose, you're not. It's not a crushing loss because the rest of the bubble is going to be sucking.
And then you'd be bubbly as all hell. But
yeah, and so, and then,
there's a path.
That is the path. Yeah. So when people go, well, what if they lose to Vanderbilt? Well, then you're an idiot if you even watch the tournament before Sunday.
Yeah.
No offense. I think Kermit would tell you that.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
there is no chance for Ole Miss to get a double bye. They're playing on Thursday. I know that's being discussed. It's just not. It's not accurate.
I see no way that mathematically works.
No. Ole Miss can finish as high as 5 and as low as 8.
Rebel EJ on the board this morning said, if I told you before the season started, Ole Miss would beat Kentucky, Tennessee, Auburn twice, and Missouri twice, what would you project the team's record to be? And look, obviously we think they'd be in the tournament and go, oh God, they went 13-5, or they did whatever they did. Now, here's the alternative to that. Had you gone in and said, hey, you're going to lose at home to State, you're going to lose twice to Georgia, Vanderbilt's going to beat you in Nashville, I mean, you'd have thought, oh, God, they go 3-13.
You're going to lose to Wichita, you're going to lose to Dayton.
Yeah, did they?
But to answer your question, if you had told me just that, I would have said, oh, wow.
They went.
They're a 4 seed.
Yeah, they were hot as a damn firecracker. I don't know about social distancing. Ajax still requiring masks too. I'm relaying these things as I see them all over the internet. So I know they're there. Look, there's a path. It's keeping it in the conversation. You play a game Saturday. What's the crowd if they go 50? They fill it up. Your last chance to see them, maybe.
Well, could they fill up? Could they get 4,500 in there? I don't know. What time's the baseball game? I mean,
is that relevant?
Keeping it real, basketball's at 6.
So if baseball's any later than 1, you got a problem.
I don't know. If baseball's at 2 o'clock, there'd be some people that would head over. I mean, if the Ole Miss Belmont game's in the 8th inning
that's
and
it's a good point. Yeah,
11-2,
it gives a crowd.
You're probably starting to get a little chilly as the sun goes down.
1:30.
Yeah, you can fill it up.
6:30, 1:30, 1:30 this weekend.
You could do that. It'll be real tempting for people to go, you know what, I'm going to head over to Rafters or something and watch it on TV and
let's grab dinner and
have a burger and a cold one.
Yeah. or we'll go get a drink, and then we've got
But would you get a bigger crowd than? Yeah, sure.
100%.
Yes.
I'm curious at the psychology of, are people automatically geared to go back? And not even a scared thing. Just they've been out of it for a little while.
This is the big. If you're in college athletics, this is part of the conversation you're having today.
Yeah, we'll tease that. We'll get to it in a second, because I do think we're going to stay there for a second. First, I will tell you about Northeast Spark. That's NESPARC.com. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Funky's tweet.
Okay. I'll
Did you
just
see
say
it?
no.
Sorry.
You get the Ignite 100 Mbps package or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. NESPARC.com. 662-238-3159. Parental controls, network security, phone service available as well. So call them, see if they're in your area, because they are. It's the internet that you need. Again, 662-238-3159.
We are also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi. Clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and so much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. At Pinnacle Trust, you can get 10% off your first year's fees just by telling them that you heard about the Oxford Exxon Podcast when you talk to them. We're also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're looking to travel this summer, now that things are starting to open up, maybe that trip to Texas you've always wanted to take looks more appealing today than it did a couple days ago, get in touch with John. He was sending me some specs on a trip to Montana that I've always been kind of curious about. Had tons of detail. Probably not doing it this summer, but regardless, tons of detail. I wouldn't have been able to plan that trip out on my own. And pricing, rentals, everything right there. John does all of that work for you. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB. Locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB has a commercial checking account, now pays 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Yeah, somebody said Kermit mentioned it too. I can't find any way they move up in the standings. I mean, I'm sitting here staring at it and nothing, even like cancellations don't compute for me. Like if somebody doesn't play. So, if there's a path that I'm missing, let me know. But I don't see it. How many's Arkansas won in a row by now?
They've won 10 games in a row in
Have they really?
the league. Yeah,
They lost the Big 12 game.
Yeah, they lost to Cade Cunningham.
Not even Oklahoma State. Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
How good's Oklahoma State because of him?
Good.
Really?
Yeah, they're good.
Illinois whipped Michigan last night.
Illinois is good.
They wore them
out. The Big
out.
Ten's pretty good this year.
They out-rebounded them. I think it was Kyle Tucker that actually tweeted about it. They out-rebounded Michigan like 41-20 or something last night. Just whipped Juwan Howard's team.
Yeah, I saw the last couple minutes that Juwan looked
frustrated.
Looked a little beaten.
It's been a rough night.
Yeah, it's been a rough day.
Well, I mean, look, when you had a team like Michigan that's run through everybody like that, there was going to be some psyche stuff you got to kind of get through with them a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, calm down. So good. We're whatever. So what we're talking about is, again, look, there will be some people that don't go out of precaution, and good. Okay, that's fine. No issues there.
Sure.
But there will be some. I just wonder how quickly the mentality adjusts to return to a stadium, because there is some of this for a couple different reasons. One, people are out of practice. They're out of routine. It's not just what we do anymore on the Saturday or the Tuesday night or the Friday night or whatever. It's going to feel a little foreign for a bit. So how quickly does that happen? the football problem, what you're talking about with Ole Miss or any university in the country, is the convenience of being at home. What is the price and the convenience of being at home versus the inconvenience versus the positives that are inside the stadium? That goes for football, basketball, baseball, goes for anything. What's the travel involved? What's the family situation? You're probably okay. I tell you why this is critical for universities is it's not so unknown and in the past yet. Had we had one more year of it, it would have been catastrophic where it was completely out of your mental capability at that point. It's still somewhat okay right now.
I think you're right. I do. I agree with what you said.
It's going to affect it, but
it's the conversation that if I'm at Ole Miss or Mississippi State or anywhere else and I'm sitting in the room and maybe you finished with the business at hand, I'm a hand-raised guy that goes, hey, listen, let's not take it for granted that everyone's coming back.
They're not.
Because they're not.
Everyone's not coming back.
And the sooner that we make it available for people to come back, the more likely they'll come back. The longer we go with the habit broken, the harder it's going to be to get them back. Like in baseball, for example. They basically didn't play last year.
It's a positive for them.
Right. But assuming that you get people back. I mean, had this gone another season where people went through 2 seasons of no baseball, I mean, who knows how the dynamic looks different. Right? That had to be a concern a month ago.
But
yeah, Will, there's not. He says, I'd love to see if there's a college basketball player better than the Cunningham kid for Oak State. There's not.
I thought it was an interesting comment yesterday on the message board. So we talked about the Grove, parceling it off, having people pay. Once you take the toothpaste out of the tube, do you worry about the bad season? The 11, the 12 thing happens where suddenly it's empty and you can't pay for it?
Sure.
Because you can't just bounce back and forth depending on the success of the program.
No. You puts pressure on you as an athletic staff to make sure that, hey,
because apathy is a real damn thing.
You can have a bad year.
You can.
But you can't. It's got to be a bad year where people are like, man, I tell you what, if we hadn't lost our quarterback and if we hadn't have.
No, I'm saying 2010, 2011.
No, you can't have that.
2019, 18.
Well, that's probation. That can't happen.
That can't happen. Probation literally can't happen right now. That would be a problem.
Avery, we've already decided it's not $60 a square foot. It's $59.95.
And it's $52 with the rebelgrove.com discount because we get $4 of that.
Promo code Rebel Grove
Yeah.
becomes cheap.
I think come down to like $48. That does feel really expensive. Because how big is your
We'll
area?
throw in a koozie.
Oh, well, then in that case, I'll take 2. I mean, how many square feet do you need for your tailgating area?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's kind of like the size of the room. What's the size of the room? Ish.
What's this room? 12 by 12? It's
Probably.
a small room. So it's 140 square feet.
That's steep. That was an expensive
I don't have
plot of land.
I don't have any idea.
I mean, you're buying property before long here. Like this.
Hey,
I can go get a cabin in Monroe County at this.
You're the one that says 40,000 people don't come if they can't tailgate.
Well,
so
I'm not lying. Well, you're making it very cost effective to show up. I'll tell you that. My God. Hey, students, don't worry. We got a section over here for you. $60 a square foot. We take Amex. I mean,
I don't know, man. I mean, I told you.
Yeah, I know 10 by 10's not that big, and that's still. I mean, that's $6,000
for the whole season, though.
Oh well, hell. my tickets in the Diamond Club are $2,200. My tailgating spot's $6,000.
Hey, make it $40 a square foot. I don't know. Y'all the ones throwing money away, not me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it depends on what it means to you. How many people are going into it together? I mean, you'd break it up, right? Tailgate. You don't typically just tailgate with just your family.
No, but it's not a very big space. I mean, we just said 12 by 12. We didn't talk about the 24 by 24s.
Well, wear a mask, Chase, if you're worried about it. I mean,
You know, waddle.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you do it, but it is clearly a revenue stream if you want it to be.
The Indians' president said he's not able to comment on Callaway. Probably an easy thing for him to say. Just I'm going to avoid that subject. No hablo inglés. Sorry, I can't do that one.
Boy, that story.
I don't. Probably should take him off the hot board, right? Is that? I'm kidding. Everybody, I'm playing around. I'm playing.
Yeah,
it's sad all the way around. I mean, honestly, I'm not even making jokes. It's sad all the way around.
Sure.
The Washington football team has a co-ed dance team now instead of cheerleaders. You see this?
I did not see that.
Yeah. The Washington football team has get a freaking mascot. When are we naming a mascot?
I don't know.
I mean, I didn't say Redskins that time.
Land
it's
Sharks
taken
are
this long.
Yeah, they could be the Land Sharks.
I mean, they give the suits away to people all the time, so they can give. And it was Lenore Ryan, by the way. It wasn't Carson Newman that day when he entered the transfer portal and jumped over to Lenore Ryan. You can tell him because he has like a little cowlick thing in the front. The bear does, like a little bit of hair out of place in the front. Yeah. Well, the biggest problem with the bear was they couldn't get the same size dude in it every time. So you'd have small bear and have big bear. You'd have small bear and have big bear.
Yeah.
Skinny bear, fat bear. It was. I mean, he had an eating disorder. Yeah, let's see. It says they discontinued its cheerleading program after more than 50 years, replacing it with a co-ed dance squad as part of its rebranding effort. Okay, sure.
The people in the thread can make comments, but if I make a comment, I'll get in trouble. So I'm not saying anything.
About what?
About the co-ed dance team.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have microphones in their face. They could do it. I mean, yeah, come on.
I didn't know whether you were talking about the Yale leaders or us for a second.
I mean, we just talk. We've done it so much that whatever. But do you ever get paranoid that, like, we are in a culture where one little slip
is a
problem? Does it go through your head?
Every single day.
Does it really?
Yes. There's
been a couple times where I've said things that I know are fine, but I'm like, okay, in the wrong environment.
I have 2 emailers every day who I assure you would love to cancel me. So, yeah.
That lawyer guy?
Yeah, he
doesn't like you at all.
At all.
I mean, he
was very upset yesterday.
You change his day.
He was very upset yesterday.
Oh, was he really?
Yes. Very unhappy with Mississippi.
Where's he live?
New York.
Oh, does he really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
What kind of law does he do?
Criminal defense.
Oh, this is okay. Now that's that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Who's the other one? You get 2?
I have a feeling he's using a pseudonym.
You think he goes to the effort to do 2?
No, I think the other person is not using his real name.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant that guy.
That guy uses his real name, all of his contact numbers and everything.
Esquire, whole deal?
The whole deal.
Oh, I mean, credit to that.
Oh, I mean,
hey. It's in front of your face.
There's one I will respond to.
The devil I know.
And there's one that I don't, yeah.
Oh, you don't respond to the other one at all?
No, if you're not going to use your real name.
You're sure it's not a real name?
Pretty sure.
Are you? We finally got rid of the guy that tried to sue us all the time for kicking him off the message board.
Well, yeah, when he realized that the equivalent of that was to take the money outside and light it on fire.
He had gone to the trouble of paying for 19 different usernames. At some point, he's buying me a yacht or something. He just keeps buying new usernames and new usernames and new usernames.
If you're getting a yacht out of 19 subscribers, you've got a better deal with rivals than I do.
There's a lot of holes in my yacht, one or the other.
Yeah.
But he just bought, and we would delete, and he would, you could ban his IP address. So he would go find another computer.
Yeah.
And get another one. I mean, this dude really wanted to be on the message board. I mean, old timers will know exactly the username we're talking about. And he would send these emails and go, I'm hereby telling you that I'm suing you in the county court of Hinds County. And he would name all these places. And there's like a couple times we had to call Yahoo and go like, y'all need to put a lawyer on this. And they're like, oh, for Christ's sake. Like, and if you send them to the disclaimer side, there's essentially a paragraph that goes, I can ban you for any reason I want to, including getting off the bed on the wrong side every morning. Like, I don't need a reason. Just peace. He could not compute that, though.
Literally got summoned that one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I go? And they're like, no.
Well, a couple times people would get mad about stuff on the message board and then try to sue us for it. Because we're in charge of the content. It's like,
but the standard on that is such that we would have to be leaving it up with the intention of hurting a person. Yeah.
It would be strict scrutiny, almost like a celebrity. Is how it would apply. So anyway, all right. Let's see. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They will deliver locally in the Oxford area. They'll offer MedSync for your prescriptions the same day every single month. Make it where it's one trip to them or one trip to you to make sure you get everything you need. And with the Right Way Meds, they will individually package your medication to make sure even time of day is taken care of for what you need. That can save lives in certain situations. So again, 662-236-2222.
We are also brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors. She sponsors my mailbag, which is up on the site. She serves you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Goodness. We're also brought to you by Bain, Moss, and Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. It's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them at 662-287-1620. And we're brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. They are your trailer-specific professionals. If you want to haul it, they can call it. They're home to Load Trail, also to Hallmark Cargo Trailers. They also do all types of truck accessories. And you can also get 10% off a yearly trailer service and inspection at Alpha's full-service shop. They can repair all types of trailers. So get in touch with them at 601-932-9798. or alphaofms.com. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit and hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. They've been advertising with us for the past 2 years. We've always directed you to direct message them to set up a time to get measured. But now, whether you're coming to Oxford or not, you can visit BlueDeltaJeans.com to get measured by their new virtual tailor and design your own jeans. And just for our podcast listeners, enter the discount code Rebel Grove, that's all lowercase, at checkout, and get 10% off your order. The most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I've got on my Blue Deltas right now. I think, Chase, you do too?
I do. I have. Yeah. Do we have the same? I have gray on.
Yeah, I've got the gray on too. Yeah. We almost like we have a memo this morning or something. You can get yours as well. You'll love them. Again, it's BlueDeltaJeans.com. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. They're stylist, hand-select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. They're the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Halsey, True Grit, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or therogue.com.
What are you asking me in the stream? Something about a Scotty Cameron. What about it? G210 rail. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Oh, we just asked me if they're any good. I've actually never had a Scotty Cameron. I don't know. I use a Peretti. Cubs baseball's on the air, I see, from Georgia Rebel.
Oh,
you watched
right?
any preseason at all?
I have not yet. Just a little bit of that we turned on in here when the Braves were playing somebody. I mean, I'd be lying if I told you I did not care. I would also be lying if I told you that I cared as much as I'm used to caring.
Is this the lowest you've cared?
In a long time.
Okay. And it's not just them tanking a little, is it?
No. It runs a little. I have a fear that it runs a little deeper than that. We'll see.
Speaking of, I mean, that's same sort of principle. When fans come back, do you feel better?
Yes. Now, I don't like teams politicizing it. A little turned off by the Thunder right now, if I'm honest. You can have basketball fans at Oklahoma games, at Oklahoma State games, but not a Thunder game? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, why?
NBA rule, each arena rule.
No, I mean, hell, they're fans at the Bucks game in Wisconsin.
That's right. Yeah.
It bothers me a little bit. Like, why? What is... Help me here, seriously. What is the message you're trying to send when you do that? What are you trying to say? Is it an internal message to the rest of your organization that, hey, we're protecting you? Is it a message we're protecting players, but now when you go to Dallas tonight, and I think the Thunder play in Dallas tonight, there are going to be fans. Is
it an effort where they think it'll help them in free agency?
I don't know. That's what I mean. These are the things that I look at and I think, well, why would you do that? And I don't know the answer.
Kind of weird here. I did not know he'd had this previously. Yankees manager Aaron Boone, only 47 years old, having a pacemaker put in today.
Saw that.
Had open heart surgery in 2009. So he had open heart surgery at 35.
He's leaving the Yankees. John Lester's leaving his new team, the Nationals, for a week or so to have his thyroid removed.
Really?
Or a thyroid gland or something removed. Both expected back with their teams within a week or two, but
that's an interesting thing with him because, I mean, obviously top-rated medicine, but thyroid controls a lot of stuff. He could deal with some energy, weight issues. That's an endocrine deal that's could be pretty serious.
Yeah.
There with Lester. I didn't see that. Sheriff asking for the black box in Tiger's SUV to rule out whether a crime was committed, quote unquote. Part of them said that it was just standard, but it seems to run a little higher than that. Here's my question. He only hurt himself. What's the crime?
Is there a...
They said there was no probable cause at the scene.
Is there a theory that the car was manipulated so that it would happen?
Oh. I haven't seen that. Reading here from ESPN, it just says the Sheriff's Department executed a search warrant Monday to get data from the so-called black box in the SUV that Tiger Woods was driving when he was injured in a crash last week. To get a warrant, probable cause that a crime was involved has to be determined, even if it's just a misdemeanor. A sheriff's deputy downplayed the warrant as routine to USA Today Sports on Tuesday, saying he considered it due diligence. Quote, we're trying to determine if a crime was committed. If somebody's involved in a traffic collision, we've got to reconstruct the traffic collision. If there was any reckless driving, if somebody was on their cell phone or something like that, we determine if there was a crime. If it's no crime, we close out the case and it was a regular traffic collision. There's no way in hell they do this for every traffic collision. So it's a little weird.
Are they saying he was on his phone?
The black box data can show a vehicle's speed, steering angle, acceleration, and braking activity. There was no information regarding what was found in the SUV's black box. Deputy Tina Schrader said in a statement on Wednesday, as far as getting a warrant or getting the download from the car, we do it automatically. We want answers, so that's the route we take. She said there was no probable cause for a warrant to obtain Woods' blood, which would help determine whether he was under the influence of medication. They said Woods has been cooperative. Los Angeles County Sheriff last week said the crash was, quote, purely an accident and that they would not file charges against Woods pertaining to the single-car crash near the border of Rolling Hills Estates and Rancho Palos Verdes.
It's wild. Big Reb 601, thanks for the super chat. Conference realignment predictions. My mind's not even there right now. I expect there to be some conference realignment when the grant of rights expires in a couple, 3 years.
25, 24?
24, 25, yeah. I do. I think Notre Dame will join a league. I think at that point, my suspicion is that they have found their home.
In the ACC?
Yeah. If you told me a league broke up, I would have said it was the Big 12. And I might still say that, but the Pac-12 is a mess right now. And some of those schools have some questions too. If I'm Utah, for example, I don't know how fascinated I am with the Pac-12 at this moment. Arizona
Sure.
State. Yeah, Will says sounds to me like they think someone manipulated Tiger's vehicle prior to the crash. Does make you wonder. Like, did the brakes not work the way they should have?
That's a note now.
You know, I mean, you're getting into some real sinister stuff at this point.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Or maybe they're trying to determine just how fast he was going. Maybe someone is saying, hey, look, if the average person was going, and I'm just making up a number here, 80 in a 45, and was on his or her phone, you might press charges.
But they didn't believe he was driving crazy speeds. Traffic footage they had
Caught him right before, and he was going fast, but he wasn't going crazy
nothing
fast.
out of control at all.
Right.
Simply, like we said, he was late, and they thought just excess speed a little bit, just in a hurry, but nothing.
Yeah, he wasn't like going 110 or something in that spot.
And I saw somewhere where they said that exact spot had no prior issues. That was not the exact spot he wrecked. Was not a, oh God, this is an area you better avoid situation. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what it means or where we're going to go from there. But
we heard any more about his update on his health? Is he? I mean, a long, long way to go.
Yeah,
but
no. I mean, stable, going to live, but
the leg is safe.
There has been no infection that I'm aware of in the leg. Yeah. Because they did a second procedure to kind of go in and stabilize and close and do some stuff. And to the best of my knowledge, everything's fine from that standpoint.
Georgia.
He's at Cedars-Sinai now, which is the best orthopedic care in L.A. So he's been moved from emergent to let's just get the leg fixed and see what we can do from a mobility standpoint.
Bagman says, I saw a video where this person was doing a voiceover for a ground view of the highway, and their argument was that another driver forced him off the road.
Oh.
Avery says it was early. He fell asleep, ? Which is what I've wondered. But
it was 7 a.m.
But I don't think he was because he was so agitated leaving the hotel.
Yeah. He was late to meet Herbert and Breeze, and it appeared that he was very awake.
Yeah.
He was mad that the valets wouldn't get out of his way for him to get out of the hotel parking lot.
Yeah.
So, no, it did not appear that he was on something.
Probably not falling asleep 15 minutes later.
No. See where Kellen Winslow got 14 years?
That's all?
That's kind of what I thought, too. Yeah. So.
Zach Davies on the bump for the Cubs, according to Georgia Rebel. You can just imagine my excitement about that.
Well, that's exciting.
I mean, what a pitching staff that is. Just a bunch of fireballers. I don't think they have anybody throwing 90.
So they're the anti-MLB?
So they have a rotation that is contact, and a bullpen that is completely anti-contact.
Well, that's an interesting managerial move.
Yeah, you can tell this was not planned.
A lot of forethought wasn't put into this. So they have a bunch of Kyle Hendricks in the rotation, and then
one of the stories that came out yesterday was that the Cubs were scouting UNS Cespedes, and it was, but why? I mean, like, how did, but how does he fit?
Yeah. So, all right, good enough. All right, check rebelgrove.com. We got I don't know, whatever. Baseball, Jackson State tonight. We'll let you know anything that happens from a attendance ticket situation moving forward. There could be news today. There could not be news today. I have no idea. But either way, we'll bring that to you. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, and we will let you know then, whatever we are hearing there. So have a good day. Take care, and we'll talk to you then.